Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Terry.
And we're
Escaping the Empty Nest.
So hi, we're glad you're back for this next video in our video series. And today we wanted to discuss mobility issues with travel, especially on our experiences in the city of Paris when we were there. Now we have a daughter that has mobility issues of her own, and so she's always been really excited, and Paris has been one of the places that she's wanted to go for a very long time.
She even speaks French.
She does, yes.
Very well.
And so our trip there actually opened our eyes that we had to let her know that you're going to have to make a lot of extra plans because there aren't very many places that have very mobile friendly for people who have handicaps, disabilities, or even like us, you know, we're just not in the best of shape, and it wasn't very easy for us to get around at times.
No, I think one thing that surprised us, is kind of a culture shock coming from the United States, is the fact that they don't have Americans with Disability Act in France for obvious reasons. Yeah. And a lot of these buildings are hundreds of years old before elevators and escalators were even invented. So to come from the United States where it's almost expected to go to Europe where it's a luxury to have some kind of lift or escalator to get you up or down to the next step was really eye-opening. So when we landed in Paris, after we stowed our bags at the luggage locker, one of the first things we wanted to see was Sacré-Cœur, mainly because it was closest to the train station. We took the metro to the train station that was next to Sacré-Cœur instead of to the south of it, and mainly because we wanted to see a certain bakery that we was recommended to us. And what we didn't realize was how many stairs there would be to get to the top unless we went all the way down to the funicular, which is itself was a long walk from where we were. But we thought, oh, it's just, we saw one staircase and it was like, you know, I don't know.
We can handle that.
Yeah, we can handle that one. Then we got to the top of that staircase, and there was another staircase that was even longer. And then we got to the top of that staircase, and then there was another staircase. It was like climbing a mountain, and it was exhausting.
More stairs.
Again,
we were climbing a mountain.
We weren't the only ones who were struggling either, believe me. There were several people along the way that were, we bonded through our misery.
Yes, we did.
So if you're the least bit out of shape, don't take those stairs. It's not worth it. There's a funicular, a cable car that'll take you almost all the way to the top, and there's taxis that can get you even closer. So if you want to see it, unless you're a really strong climber, I wouldn't do it.
So the other thing that we were overly ambitious about on our first day had plans for seeing so many different things. The excitement about being in Paris, or being that we have arrived in Paris on that first day, thinking we would have slept on the plane.
Nope.
That didn't work. Don't plan too much in one day.
Especially the first day.
Maybe one or two things. But in the center of those times, plan yourself some good rest period.
Now, speaking of major attractions, one of the things that we love the most about Paris, about the Arc de Triomphe, is not just the spectacular view, but this old 19th century monument actually has an elevator that they retrofitted to it. And we were very appreciative of it. The elevator will save you all but about 40 steps. So it takes you up about 220 steps to the top, and you have to be able to walk the rest. So if you're in a wheelchair, yeah, the observation deck's probably going to be off limits to you, but you could at least get to the museum level. But it was really nice being able to go that far. Now, you may have to ask for it, ask to be taken to the lift. They'll be glad to do it. They didn't give us a hard time, even though we weren't in wheelchairs or had crutches. We were just so worn out, we knew we couldn't make 220 steps to the top. So it's worth doing. Check it out. Now, the Eiffel Tower is a little different. Mm-hmm. The Eiffel Tower is very wheelchair accessible for the first two levels. It's spectacular. If you want to go to the top, you can't. They will refuse to take you to the top. Now, if you're in Cannes, you could probably make it to the third elevator level, but you have to be able to sign something or promise that, you know, if the elevator breaks down, you can walk those 1,000 steps to get to the bottom or whatever. But yeah, it's the top level of the Eiffel Tower is not wheelchair accessible at all. So just be careful about that.
So the next thing that we want to let you know about is don't depend on Google Maps for elevation. So we decided to take the metro to that creperie we talked about in our last video, the one that we didn't have the cash for. Now, it looked great. It looked like, okay, you get off the metro right by Moulin Rouge and you just take this little short street. What we thought was a little short walk ended up being a very hard and very tiring walk to the top of a hill just to get to that creperie. So if you're looking at a map and it looks like, oh, that looks easy to get to, don't count on it always being that way. Be prepared that you are in Paris and there is going to be a lot of hills.
By the time we were in Paris for a few days, we had grown to appreciate the hotel we stayed at, which we'll do a hotel review later. But one nice thing about the hotel, it was equal distance between 2 metro stops. One metro stop was above ground and one metro stop was below ground. They both handled the same line. So that means if we were really tired of stairs, we could take the metro that was below ground every time we left the hotel and take it back to the hotel, to the metro that was above ground when we came back. So we were always walking downstairs. Metro stations in Paris are not accessible at all. Some of them have escalators for going up. We didn't see a single one that had escalators going down. The RER trains are a little bit more accessible. I think some of the RERs have elevators. We didn't hit many RERs except when we were leaving Charles de Gaulle. And yeah, it's rough. Wow, you want to tell the story about the lady?
we felt really bad because we saw a woman that went into the metro. I don't know how she got to the metro station, but she went through the gates. They have special gates that you can get your wheelchair through, and she was in a wheelchair, but she had to go down a large flight of steps to get to the platform where she was going to actually pick up the train. And I don't know if she and her friends have done this many, many times, but what essentially had to happen was one friend had to
carry the
wheelchair down to the bottom without her in it. And she had about 2 or 3 other friends all around her that were trying to help her get down the stairs to meet her wheelchair. Now, they were laughing as they were doing this because I'm just thinking that they've had to do this so many times that rather than thinking about what a hassle it is, it's just become a funny joke for them. But it's a really sad shape to know that this poor lady, every time she would have to ride a metro, which it seemed like that's what she had to do, she was going to have to take a group of people with her to help her navigate the stairways.
Lord help you if you're by yourself or just with one friend. I don't see how people would do it. I think what we decided by the end is if our daughter ever went to Paris, as long as her knees are as bad as they are, she would have to take the bus everywhere, that of course is ground level, or take taxis or Uber everywhere. It's not a situation that's easily accessible for people who have trouble walking.
One website that we found after we got back from Paris that would have been very helpful to have is sagetraveling.com. This website was amazing. It gave you access to finding which places that you could go that would accommodate your mobility issues, and it also gave some specific phrases that you may need to say in French to help people understand what exactly it is that you need help with or that you need to be able to do.
Yeah, and they also suggest tours for people who have mobility issues that are geared just toward that. So wow, we would recommend this website to anybody. Just incredible wealth of information that even if you're just a little out of shape and you know you can't handle a very strenuous trip, definitely worth checking out. So if you've never been to Paris but have that desire burning in your heart, but you also don't have the legs that can handle it, out of all the cities in Europe we went to on this trip, Paris probably was the least accessible for people with mobility issues. So we hope this video has been helpful to you. Check out the websites that we talked about, sagetraveling.com. We're going to put the link down in our description. And we hope to see you again soon. If you like this video or want to hear more about our trip all over Europe, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And we'll be here for several more videos on Europe, and we hope you're here with us. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.